Shalom Aleichem, my dear brothers and sisters. In this video, I would like to tell you about some similarities between Judaism and Islam. Some of these similarities are well known, some of them are not so well known. So the first thing is monotheism. Both Islam and Judaism accept only one God, and this God is non-divisible, He's not visible, and He's not physical in any way or form. There's nothing in this world, in this physical world, that can compare to Him. So I think both Judaism and Islam are in line with that. The second is polygamy. Both Islam and Judaism accepts polygamy. According to the Torah, from the Torah perspective, a man is allowed to have more than one wife at the same time. Although, however, some rabbis recommend not to have more than 4, and some rabbis don't recommend to have even more than 1. But the truth is, from the Torah perspective, a man is allowed to have more than 1 wife. In fact, my great-grandfather, his brother, had 2 wives. Because one of the wives, the first one, couldn't have children for I think 10 years or so, and then she herself found him another wife, so that he could have children through that other wife. So both Islam and Judaism, has a similarity in that. Although in Judaism, by the way, there's no limitation for a regular man, as long as he can afford it. If he can afford more than 5 wives, technically he could. However, a Jewish king, has a limitation. So that's I'm not sure if that's same in Islam or not, but I know this about Judaism. Okay, another similarity is that certain laws we have are capital crimes. So, for example, in Judaism and in Islam, in both religions, homosexual acts is considered to be a capital crime. Adultery, meaning where a woman cheats on her husband, it's a capital crime. And blasphemy, meaning like cursing God, is also considered to be a capital crime according to both religions. Another similarity is charging interest. So from the Muslim point of view, a Muslim cannot charge or pay interest to anybody, whether Muslim or non-Muslim. From the Jewish perspective, a Jew cannot charge or pay interest to a fellow Jew. If you're curious to know why in Judaism we have this differentiation between a fellow Jew charging interest to between each other or to a non-Jew, you can watch my other video where I have it titled as Racism in Judaism, where I explain that part and I go into more details. But this is another similarity. Another similarity is the kosher and halal. From the Torah law, before eating meat, a Jew must slaughter the animal in a kosher way, meaning it has to be slaughtered by the neck with a really sharp knife, and a blessing to God has to be recited before slaughtering. And very similar, it is done in Islam. Another similarity is circumcision. So Muslims circumcise all boys, although in Islam I don't think there's a specific day or age of the child when this circumcision has to take place. In Judaism also every boy has to be circumcised, but in Judaism there's more specific as far as that it has to be done on the 8th day of the baby's life. That's how, according to the Torah, Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, and then the Torah commanded us to circumcise all the male children on the 8th day of his life. Unless there's some medical issue or medical reason not to do it, let's say the child is sick, then it can be done later, but never can it be done earlier. Another similarity is pilgrimage. According to Islam, every Muslim must do pilgrimage to Mecca, and I think the rule is once in his lifetime. According to Judaism, we also have pilgrimage. However, nowadays the pilgrimage was done only to the temple in Jerusalem. Nowadays, since we don't have that temple anymore, we cannot do pilgrimage. But as Jews, we believe that eventually we will have that temple. It's called the third temple, and we will do pilgrimages again. But what are the pilgrimages? We had 3 pilgrimages throughout the year. So on 3 holidays, every male Jew had to go to Jerusalem to do pilgrimage to this temple. And the holidays were Passover, Shavuot, and Sukkot, the 3 holidays. Another similarity is that the direction of prayer. According to Islam, Muslims must pray towards Mecca. According to Judaism, Jews must pray towards Jerusalem. And it's interesting that according to Quran, actually, that Muhammad also prayed towards Jerusalem until this was changed a little bit later in his lifetime. Another similarity is that in Islam, when Muslims do pilgrimage to Mecca, they circle the Kaaba 7 times. So in Judaism, when we did pilgrimage on the holiday, specifically on the holiday of Sukkot, the Jews, the Kohanim, who were the descendants of Aaron, also would circle the altar 7 times on the last day of Sukkot. And it's interesting that this was as a remembrance of the miracle that God did to Yoshua, peace be upon him, when they conquered the city of Jericho. It says in the Tanakh that when Jews came out of Egypt and God told them to conquer the land of Canaan, the way the city of Jericho was conquered was that God told them to encircle the city 7 times and to blow the trumpets, which they did. And as soon as they blew the trumpets, the walls of the city collapsed, and that's how the Jews were able to conquer this city of Jericho. So they had to encircle the city 7 times. So in memory of that, the Kohanim had to encircle the altar during the pilgrimage of Sukkot, also 7 times. So that's another interesting similarity. Another interesting similarity is that according to both religions, Judaism and Islam, we believe that the religion must control the country. Meaning, in Judaism, we believe that the Torah is the law that's supposed to be the law of the land. That a Jewish country should be ruled by the laws of the Torah. And the Muslims believe the same way, that the land of Islam should be ruled by the laws of the Quran. Another famous similarity is the similarity between Hebrew and Arabic languages. In fact, these languages are so similar, and I always like to compare with some Arab-speaking friends, the 2 languages, and it's very interesting. And in fact, somebody who knows Hebrew would probably be able to hear Arabic and probably understand maybe, he wouldn't understand the conversation, but he would probably understand maybe 40-50% of the words, maybe even more actually, probably even more. Although he wouldn't be able to understand the conversation because the grammar is different and you don't know how the words are connected. But to pick out individual words, it would be probably very easy to do for a Hebrew speaking to Arabic, and probably vice versa. And another similarity in the language is that both of our languages are written from right to left, which is actually unique, because most of the languages are written from left to right, like English, Russian, but Hebrew and Arabic are both written from right to left. So I hope you learned today something about on the similarities between the 2 religions. Thank you for watching.